Good afternoon, everybody. Hope things are well, and we are just a little bit more than a day away from the big day. That's right, we are a little more than 24 hours away from the first ever Seattle Sea Dragon game. And I know we're all pumped, at least some of us are, and I'm going to give this a try. I was going to give the XFL a try a couple years ago. I actually went to the one home game the Dragons played, and it ended up being the only game the Dragons will ever win because the Dragons don't exist anymore. And I liked what the league was doing. It was fun. It was entertaining. It was interesting. It was a fun distraction after the season ended. But yeah, now that it's back, I'm gonna see what's up. So while I'm following along, I may as well make some videos about it. So from now on, I'm not gonna do preview videos. I don't think that's too hard to do. I'm not following this league closely enough to where I could make a preview video that is in any way intriguing to anybody, I don't think. But I'm gonna watch these games. By the way, the game starts tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific, so 8 p.m. Eastern. So a little bit late for the East Coast peeps, but yeah, we're going to be checking it out. And after the game's over, I'll make a video and talk about it for a little bit here. It's going to be an interesting experience to figure out this league. It's going to be interesting to see if it does anything for anybody, if anybody is ultimately going to bite on it, if anybody's going to actually look at it and say, hey, I like this league, I'm going to support it from here on out. But I'm going to give it a shot, man. I'm going to give it a shot. Again, if they were do things the same way they did a couple years ago when they tried this, I think they got a chance. So tomorrow I'll be watching the first ever Seattle Sea Dragons game. We're going to DC to play the Defenders. A lot of these teams in the XFL, by the way, are the teams that survived from the previous XFL. For my part, not a huge fan of the name change. I like the Dragons more than Sea Dragons, but it's whatever. Very similar, and overall, I think it's one of the coolest names in the new XFL. Anyway, so we're gonna give this league a try, and I'll make some videos about it, and we'll see if they catch on. And if people really don't like it, if people find themselves really not caring about it, maybe at some point later this year, or well, I mean the season's only so long as it is, but maybe at some point, maybe I'll just cut back on it. But I want to see where this league goes. I want to see if maybe. I know it's not technically a feeder league, but it can act as sort of a surrogate feeder league for the NFL. I want to see if these things can happen, and I want to support it. So, for those of you wondering about Sea Dragons content, it is coming, but again, I'm not really going to offer that much in the way of like hardcore analysis of the XFL because I just don't know enough to really be able to do that. I know that I think that the Vegas team. The Vegas team is probably going to win the championship this year because they've got so many like former NFL and college star players. But other than that, I couldn't tell you too much. So what I can say about the Sea Dragons is just a few things. Obviously, the most fun player that we're bringing to bear this season is probably Josh Gordon. Like Josh Gordon, former Seahawk for a very short period of time. Been in the NFL, been an NFL All-Pro, granted like a decade ago, but whatever. People love Josh Gordon, man, and it's completely understandable why. He's probably our most intriguing player going into this season. So all eyes are going to be on him. Josh Gordon absolutely has the opportunity to be the best receiver in the XFL, and if he can find a way to harness his physical abilities, which at this point have diminished, but still are present on some level, I have to believe, I think he could absolutely be the most dominant receiver in the XFL. Hoping that Ben DiNucci wins the quarterback spot because I think it's just fun to say DiNucci or Dianucci or however you pronounce his name. I don't care. It's a cool name. And I know that every team is basically having a quarterback battle, and in theory, every quarterback that's on an XFL roster has at least a chance to win the starting job. But I'm hoping for Ben DiNucci to end up as the starter, and that seems like it's going to be the case based off the depth charts that have been posted. And other than that, the only other player that I really know of on any level on the Sea Dragons depth chart is Lyndon Stevens. Former Seahawk is one of our cornerbacks. And I believe he's starting. So Lyndon Stevens, I know him. There are going to be a couple other guys who you recognize throughout the season, of course. Especially some of these teams. Some of these teams have like 10 guys you might recognize. But the Sea Dragons only have a few, so for the most part, we're going to have to be learning to really love these guys. I like the fact that it's not Jim Zorn coaching. I don't think Jim Zorn's coaching style was good for the XFL. It seemed like the XFL begged for creativity and trick plays and weird stuff, and Jim Zorn just wasn't really into that. We'll see what Jim Haslett brings to bear for us. Probably a little more exciting than the Jim Zorn thing, but I just feel like you want to go a little bit crazy and be a little bit goofy in these XFL games. So yeah, we'll see how this league goes. We'll see how the game tomorrow goes. Like I said, I'll be making a post-game video. Probably not going to do a post-game stream. Maybe I will, though. We'll see. The video probably won't go up until like 8:30 or 9 or something like that because the game is going to end fairly late. But we'll see if it catches on. And I think this is worth supporting. I really do. I think that while, of course, the XFL will never compete with the NFL, I think it's good to have another league going where some players who aren't quite cut out for the NFL yet can kind of get fed to get the opportunity to play professionally and maybe one day return to the NFL with that additional experience of at least playing in a professional league that has, like, cameras, that has, like, fans in attendance, that kind of stuff matters. So starting the season on the road in DC against the Defenders. Next week is our first home game, and I will say that I'm definitely I'm going to at least consider going to that game. It's at a very awkward time, which is unfortunate, but I'm going to look into that. I don't know if anybody else out there is, but I'm going to make an effort to. Frankly, because the start time of the game is so weird. It's like Thursday early evening. I don't know if I'll be able to, but I am going to make that attempt. And we're going to try to have some fun with this league. I know it's not as nearly as exciting as the NFL. I know that to a certain extent some people might be burnt out on football stuff and they're kind of happy that there's not going to be football for a while. But I want to see if this can kind of hold things over until baseball, basically. Because we don't have a basketball team right now. I can't talk about basketball on this channel, really. I mean, every now and then I do it as kind of a throwaway comment, but I can't really, like, talk about basketball. So we'll see if the Sea Dragons offer anything interesting up for the period of time after the Super Bowl and before baseball starts. Sound fair? Sound good enough? I'll be hitting you tomorrow night with a post-game video. And I might even be streaming on Twitch during the game. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. But we're going to give it a shot, man. All right, catch you guys later. Go Dragons and or Sea Dragons. Go Sea Dragons. And let's hope it works this time. Let's hope it catches on.